But I think I will do a collector's copy of Sussy Priest now. So, yeah. Just to get it out of the way.
No way. My team. No. Also, you realize what that name is, right?
Yep.
What name? Don't worry about it. Okay.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
When you're older.
When I'm what?
Or Jewish.
Apparently, the white screen, yeah. On your stream, there's just a white screen of you trying to boot up whatever it is.
Oh, they just go with NPC. It's
Probably
so
a smarter choice.
Yeah. These people are dumb.
Oh, I think my Switch stand died. Ooh, it's not my Switch stand, it's my Switch.
Uh-oh.
Final solution, you say? The last resort. Oh, and it
Or
just
is it use of piracy?
It's the charging port that's bad. Yeah, it's the charging port.
You ever get that problem figured out with the computer earlier today, Cam? Oh, well, uh-oh. Solve no? Yeah.
Yep, guess I'm not catching Rayquaza today.
Charging port troubles on the Switch or something, Prophet?
Yeah, it looks like the actual charging port's bad.
Dang.
Watch that.
Hmm. I'm 2 episodes off from finishing Dan to Dan. Yes. Yeah. So I've enjoyed it so far. I saw season 2 get announced, so that's pretty cool for July 2025. So
Is it only 12 episodes this season?
yeah, it's only 12 episodes.
Interesting place to end it then.
It is, but
I mean, if the second part is going to be this close, that's
it's why, yeah.
Oh. It's that kind of thing. Okay.
like how long has it been since part 2 of or part 1 of Dress Up Darling and part 2 of Meg's Family? Been a few years. But don't worry.
Da 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 da. Hello everybody, how's it going? Sex jokes ran out of fuel so fast for me? Wait, but Dan to Dan isn't just a bunch of sex jokes. I'm so confused. Hello, Weiss. Thank you for the LB7 video. Yes. Yeah, Avalon did the majority of the legwork on the spreadsheet. Most of that stuff was my idea, but that's pretty much where it stopped. Also, give me a second here, chat. I just got the tweet out, so you guys should be good to go on that front. But, I had all of my computers reboot today. I'm not really sure why, but one of them was problematic. I lost access, basically, to my laptop, which is not a huge deal for me, but it is a problem. The laptop is what I usually watch anime on at lunch. That was a big oof. But I don't know why, but it just seemingly like broke. It looks like I have hard drive failure in it, which is kind of wild because the laptop itself is not that old. Okay. Did I get everything done? I think I got everything done. Oh, oops. That away. There we go. All right. I think we are good to go here. Huzzah. How's it going, everybody? Here is today's artwork. Go. Again, hope everyone's doing good. Like I said, today's a pretty chill day for me. We got all the recording done that I needed to get done ahead of the lotto. Or sorry, after the lotto. Hold on, chat. My camera looks all fuzzy. Yep. I think it's because the computer reboot. Oh, that should bring it a little bit more into focus. Sorry, I'm not trying to make it look like I have like sunken in eyes or anything, even though I do. Just trying to fix the camera there. Okay, be good. Should be better at least. But have you been feeling fuzzy lately? No, I have not. Admittedly, because it hasn't been like cold, so I haven't had to like bundle up and gotten that warm and fuzzy feeling. I've just been hot. Got home from Sonic 3, made it just in time. Oh, did you like Sonic 3? Was it good? But yeah, so like it was really weird. I woke up this morning, I went to go like post the video to YouTube, just so I could like work on it while I was at work. And like literally the video itself just kind of was unable to do that because I had the entire like computer meltdown that I was having with all of my computers. So thankfully, you know, my stream computer, my gaming rig, both of those are fine. But for some odd reason, the laptop just like appeared to have experienced drive failure, and I'm not really sure why. Okay. Any thoughts on New Year's GSSR? Really funny, right? How old is it? The laptop's only about like 3 years old. It's really funny that at this point, like, I don't even really care to like attempt to guess GSSRs because they're so like all over the place, right? Like what do I guess that the GSSR is going to be? Because like at this point they've gotten rid of like every real pattern that they've ever tried to do with those things. So it's just like we'll just wait and see. Like, and I'm not trying to like shit on your question or anything like that. Just like this is kind of the like status of like JP and what they've done with us with GSSRs at this point. Is it's just difficult to try and guess. Which, by the way, we did have some people asking in CAD chat on Discord, but if you guys are on the JP server and you're trying to purchase quartz, do remember there is the Aniplex shop over there now. That is easily the cheapest quartz you will ever buy because it just cuts out the middleman and you basically get a discount for going for it. You do have to set up an account. The account does need Japanese credentials. You can use your normal name though. But you need like a Japanese address and a Japanese phone number. You don't have to use a Japanese payment method though. So like, unfortunately, it looks like they don't take like PayPal or anything like that. So you do need to use like a credit card. But your like in any credit card should work as long as it's one of the accepted card types. So at that point, yeah, it's like you don't have to worry about trying to like spoof credit card or payment info in any way, shape, or form. Need that ability on NA ASAP? Yeah, I'm really surprised that we don't have it. Help me remember that, guys, like for whenever I do my things I'd like to see for the next year on FGO, at least for the NA side of things, I definitely need to remember that. And certainly whenever the survey comes out, I need to remember that. Because that is something that like JP has. It is so nice that JP has it. I have not used it very much because I have not been rolling very much on JP. So it's not really been a big deal for me, but certainly when I go to actually spend money, it will be, and doubly so for NA. This would be an amazing thing to have. NA, it'll probably catch us up to Annie Nyman in terms of quality of life. Yeah. Is there any event from year 6 on that you want rerun? From year 6 on? Yep, Summer 7. That's the easiest one. Sorry, chat. I am half like befuddled here and not paying attention, so I don't know like where I'm at in the node. Oh, on the NA GSSR. I gotcha. That's my bad. I just now saw your correction there. The NA GSSR. Let me take a look at it because I don't remember what the upcoming one is. So it is here. 20 pools to choose from based off classes and NP type. You may only roll in a single pool. Okay, so it's class and then single target or AoE. And I wonder, is there... Okay, so they group support in sometimes with some of them. Do they ever mix up where support is? So sometimes they split out support. That's really odd. Just taking a look at it, and like we could do a more proper video, but like... That caster single target one is stacked. There is a lot of potential to get maybe something you don't want, but that's really, really good if you're missing like Castoria or Merlin or Scotty. Or heaven forbid, should you just be a new player and need all three. AoE Berserker is just... AoE Berserker is gonna be nuts. Always. And like... Arguably the worst one on this list is Mama Raiko, and we know for a fact that in the future Mama Raiko gets 30% charge, so there is nobody bad on that list. And yeah, you at least have two kind of supportish characters here with Koyami and Oberon. Again, like that's basically my initial like just thoughts on it. We can do a more in-depth dive as we, you know, like get towards New Year's and stuff like that. Riku is the worst on the AoE banner, right? No, Riku's amazing. Like Mama Raiko is absolutely the worst one there right now. Absolutely. And I'm not saying that like Mama Raiko is trash, but all of those other berserkers are either loopers or have charge or both. And it's like Mama Raiko is the only one that doesn't. So that's just it's a Raiko issue. Worst case scenario, you get a unique type of DPS. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it really, whenever you want to roll on like a caster GSSR, it usually comes down to what units do you already have. If you're a new player, just fucking roll the caster GSSR. It's like one of the safest ones at that point. Hello, Ern. This will be a tough year. It'll certainly be tough for me because like I don't know out of that entire list like who I don't have, but that's just the case for GSSRs for me. But like depending on your needs, there are obviously like different strategies you can employ to try and get stuff. In general, if you just want the all-rounder, the Berserker is going to be the way to go. Is my MHXA and MHX MP5 on NA? Yeah, every single Saberface is MP5 for me on NA. It's only on JP that they're not, and that's because, like, I keep, like, waffling back and forth over whether or not I want to do all the Saberfaces MP5 on JP, or whether or not I just don't want to give JP that kind of money. Like, that's all it is. So, like, you'll see me MP5 one, and then I just won't. And then I will, and then I just won't. Like, what I have been doing is I've been trying to, like, NP5 the newer ones usually, and just not the older ones when a banner comes back around. One in 4 shot of getting NP4 Mel. It'd be huge if I got her NP4. Yeah, hey, go for it, right? The only issue is you need to come to grips with the fact that you are logically going to not get Mel. Right? Like, you have a 75% chance then of not getting her. So you need to ask yourself, can you live with I took my shot and I missed, and now I'm stuck with one of these other options? If JP were to release Saber Lion, would you try to get her in P5 for the moment she appeared? Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I don't see why I wouldn't, because that would just be amazing, right? Like, but that's what I'm trying to say is, like, my JP account is pretty stacked already, so it usually doesn't, like, absolutely have to have any of those things. Like, when I say that I'm really bond efficient, I really mean it. But if there's any server that I'm not going to care about bond efficiency on, it's going to be JP. Because JP is the server where it's like, I just don't have all of the units, and I don't have a lot of them at, like, high levels. So I'm just going to go with whatever the fuck I can do to accomplish my goals. Even if that means taking bond 15 units. Whereas on NA, I have so many options that I can just go like, all right, cool, I can spread this around infinitely. Like, for instance, I've been using quick units lately on NA. Why? I haven't really used my like Scotty supports at all on NA. It's wild. Like, I used them profusely on JP to be able to get stuff done, but on NA, my account was able to avoid, like, even having to use them. And you guys know Scotty was around for a long period of time. It doesn't mean I didn't use them at all. It just means that, like, they are not very high bond level in a lot of cases. Can't wait to roll a D8 to decide my GSSR. That sounds awful. Don't do that. Once your JP Oberon hits bond 15, are you going to switch to quick for JP then? Maybe, right? Like, right now, for instance, if we go to JP, you'll actually see what I'm doing. Because Oberon is only a requirement when Oberon is a requirement. And I know that's like saying people die when they're killed, but, like, that is the truth of the matter. If I am running a node and I don't have to use Oberon to get the node done, I'm not going to use Oberon. It's that simple. Like, if I can get away with using Reigns or Waver, I will do that. AoE Rider, single target Berserker, every other banner just looks better, has multiple MP5s I could hit. Yeah, I do think this one's going to be at least semi-rough because of, like, how many options we do have. I gotta make sure I keep these down. I am threading the needle here in my NA's mailbox. And I don't think it's gonna be until New Year's that I'm actually gonna get something to level. I guess I will make a singular blue apple. And I will run this again. Because NA is very much in a holding pattern right now. This is the time, by the way, chat. If you guys are not done or caught up with story for, like, LB7, do it now. This is the best time. There's really nothing going on. There is no, like, impending thing other than LB7. So, like, this is a perfect sort of dead period for you guys to actually like work on units that you might need for LB7. Again, we did get that guide video out with that spreadsheet. If you're curious at all about what you might need, go check that out. It'll give you some semblance of an idea. And again, you can kind of start a little bit of a head start now. We didn't give you a shit ton of time. I'm sorry about that, but there is some time nonetheless to be able to go over that stuff. What's up, Shadow? Main interludes too. Yeah, I should probably be doing the main interludes. If there's nothing I need or want on a GSSR, I shouldn't roll on it, even if it's a cheap 5-star. That's certainly a take. Like I'm gonna say, like, you can do that if you're like, if you really feel like there is no value there, and that is a like that statement sounds like it's an objective statement, but it's actually a subjective statement. Like, what value is different for different people. So like, you may see no value in getting an additional MP level of a unit that you already have, whereas other people might see value in that. You may see no value in getting this new unit that you don't have. Other people might see value in that. So it really just depends. But yes, if you truly feel like you're not getting anything out of a GSSR, you don't need to roll it. That being said, my sort of everyman type of advice is you should pretty much, if you're going to spend any money on this game, it should be on a GSSR. In an A, is it better to do LB7 during the half AP campaign on January rather than do it on release? I actually don't know. I don't know if Avalon's here, but I don't know if like Taiwan and Korea got the half AP campaign due to them being accelerated. But you can wait. Like there's nothing that's requiring you to get part 1 done ahead of time. I'm just usually of the opinion it's better to have it done and be ready for part 2 when it comes out. So I think gotcha and spending already about to have it. Yeah, that's not wrong. Yeah, like, if you want to be, like, hella efficient with AP, you certainly don't have to, but I do agree with what chat's saying right now. It's not like there's anything else really to do. So, like, I don't know. Like, again, if you're fine completing it later, then complete it later. There's nothing like, I'm not going to, like, scream at you. It's like, how dare you not do story immediately on release, right? I will say, though, don't expect anybody to like protect you from spoilers though, right? Like once LB7 comes out, people will begin to talk about LB7. I think there is a reasonable period, like especially in the week of release and stuff, where it's like, hey, don't just go around like spoiling people on what actually happens. Doubly so, like as 7.1 comes out, I better not see people talking about 7.2, right? Like that's really dumb and bad. But yeah, like I don't know, it's like if you don't do the story on release and then you wait a long time, like I have literally unironically seen people like that after 6 months hadn't completed the story and then tried to cry foul if anybody wanted to talk about the actual story at play. And this was like in voice calls, okay? So there's a point where it's like, yeah, we can try not to spoil you, but there's also a point where I'm just not going to give a fuck anymore because it's your ass being lazy, not, hey, like, sure, we understand you didn't blitz the story like we did type deal. I don't think January will be too dead. I'm more worried about Asshole spoiling part 2. Yep. What do I think is the most impactful unit of NA 2025? Oh man. So I haven't done my banner review yet, so this is a more difficult question to think about, but like, let's see here. So off the top of my head, going down the list, we've got Kukulkan, we've got Tiamat, we've got Draco, we've got Ace, we've got Zerktoria, we've got Melson Ruler. Did we? Oh no, that's Nemo Moss is Christmas next year, which did not have a new unit. Okay, sorry, I was like going through the banners in my mind and trying to think, but who is the most impactful out of all of them? I mean, there's definitely like an apples to oranges discussion. Because you can sit there and you can say like, you know, this unit has more of an impact because they're a challenge unit. And then you can sit there and say this unit has more of an impact because they're a farming unit. So it's definitely difficult to say, especially in a year where we don't really have a new like meta support coming out. For me, it's Zerktoria. And a large part of that is just the kit and how useful she's been. Like, I shit you not, chat. I have had to try not to use my Zerktoria on JP whenever possible because I bond leveled her so fast when I got her. Like, and not like I was trying to blitz bond. She was just the Swiss Army knife. She was the solution to every fucking node. And it was wild that she was. So it's like, we had a little bit of a sameness with Draco. We had a little bit of a sameness with Tiamat. It's just, I don't know, for me it was Zerktoria, and Zerktoria still receives the most use out of any of the units. See, like, I don't have Tiamat on JP, so there's definitely a little bit of bias there on that end. But Tiamat is still a very, very good unit. So I'm trying to think about, like, where I felt like Tiamat was absolutely a really good use. Not like, oh, I can take Tiamat to this node, haha. No, like, Tiamat is the solution to this node. Tiamat a support? No, she's AoE. So, like, it's difficult for me to, like, land on any given one, but if you put a gun to my head, I'm probably going to tell you Zerktoria. Now, that doesn't mean that any of the other units are bad, though. You don't use Draco anymore that much? No, I still do. Draco just has... So, Zerktoria has no restriction on her use. At all. Like, other than, like, the node is just a purely AoE node, right? Like, that's definitely going to cause some problems for her. But there is, like, no reason that you can't use her otherwise. Draco, there are some points where, like, Draco's not a good solution for the node. Again, it can be extra classes. It can just be non-servants. It can just be maybe her refund somehow doesn't work for that particular scenario. So there are the occasional ones, but Draco is still a very good and solid unit. She's still a solution to, like, I'd say probably like 80 to 90% of the things that Zerktoria is a solution for, Draco is also a solution for. So it just really depends. Oh yeah, I totally forgot about Tez, thank you. Tez is definitely up there. Cuckoo has faded to backseat for JP? No, she hasn't. No. Like, for instance, I have been perfectly fine having a Kukulkan and not having a Tiamat. It just hasn't really been a problem. So it's like, I'm gonna say between Cuckoo and Tiamat, you can kind of just pick one and go after one of the two. They're not immediately, like, replaceable. It's just, they do have some overlap, and basically, if you're just sitting there trying to, like, brute force the node with one of them, odds are you can also do it with the other. Summer Mellow can produce some decent damage, but a lot of it is, like, just dependent on her actual kit. She's not nearly as cracked as, like, OG Mel is. So next year is husbando or waifu year. I mean, there's a mix of both, but I'm gonna say it's probably more of a waifu year. Granted, this is also FGO, so like, I kind of expect that to be the case, right? But Cuckoo can't touch Zero, right? Actually, he can. Any thoughts on Annie GSSR being year 5? Year 5 on only 5 stars? I have no thoughts about that. like GSSRs are normally only 5 stars unless you're like including the like, hey, we also threw in the possibility of you getting a 4-star and a 3-star in here. But like the whole reason you're rolling is usually for the 5 stars. Oh, whoops. I didn't do the thing. There we go. Yeah, that's true too. Every single time you end up with a 50% C in an event, it doesn't matter that the unit can touch 0. It like literally invalidates the unit's ability to touch 0. But let me hold on. Yeah, I was thinking that there was something else there, but yeah, I think it's just Summer Kuro's the only way Cuckoo touches 0. Were the 2 CBCs? Yeah. Like I said, they generally give it to us. I think the devs just know, because so part of what happens there is if you give people a 50% C, people then don't have to worry about power gaps like that. That is to say, all of your like 30% chargers in a Korean Sky system work with 50% Cs. All of your 50% chargers work. All of the people that can charge more than 50% work, and all of the loopers work. So it literally means that like everybody works other than like people that have 20% charge or less. And then odds are you still might be able to like work them in somehow. So it is pretty much a like uniform solution to the issues of, hey, what do we do? This unit is spiraling out of control because their ability to touch like Black Grail and stuff. It's like, well, it doesn't matter when you're going to be taking the event C anyways. Like, oh, well, this unit can do it. Who cares? So can that unit. And therein lies the like the reasoning, I suspect, behind why they do it. It's just, it's convenient. The player base likes it, and it stops everybody from bitching about things. So it's usually the better solution for them. Made things more accessible overall. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, like, so, like, the difference between Tiamat being able to touch, like, Zero and Kukulkan not conventionally being able to, it's like, well, if you really needed it to, you could make Kukulkan do it. Also, Kukulkan's damage is extremely high even without the ability to touch it. Chat, you don't want to see Kukulkan's damage with the ability to touch Black Grail. It is stupid. That's the best thing I can say. She is a unit that is definitely designed around having 50%. All right, so we finally, crisis averted. I got done with the entire Lotto and managed to get all of my storm pods done without wasting any of them. So really solid management of the Lotto here. Biggest boss, thank you for the follow. Welcome. Cuckoo BG's essentially, there was a planet here before, right? Yeah, exactly. Thank you for the prime. Appreciate it, boss. Welcome to the channel. Enjoy your emotes. And chat, can we get some love for boss? Yeah, I guess I send myself right back in, though. Era the dog treatment here. As I may as well just go and get more boxes. So, like, now I'm over my 500. I don't need to, like, hard grind or anything like that, but I can still, like, nat AP and just get more. Like, there's literally no downside to it. Especially about the raid since I'm a newer player. Yeah, that's definitely going to be a harder thing for newer players. This is why we were telling people for a while, which you may or may not have been around, Biggest, but like we were talking a lot about how like people need to be working on their rosters this year and leveling things up. And we have, again, you know, for the better part of like an entire year been warning everybody to do this. So like we've tried to give everybody as much time as possible, but, you know, I don't think everybody necessarily listens, or people just don't have the resources, or again, you know, like in your case, like they're so new that they haven't actually gotten to develop the account very much. But if you do get stuck, it's not the end of the world. Again, you can solo things for the raid. So usually that means you can kind of just walk in there and so like a solo and FGO is normally consistent of like a middle unit, like here with our Tori on screen, and then two side units that sacrifice themselves to get it down to a solo. But this is a true solo. This is in this raid's case, you can actually just take a singular unit. So it's really nice for the purposes of being or allowing you to like stretch your roster. So that's something that you can abuse to your advantage. Just keep in mind there are going to be problems with that. I've been playing for 3 months, but I still consider myself newish. You're pretty much newish for at least the first year, I would say. Because once you've gone through like the entire normal like schedule of FGO, now you'll kind of know the way the schedule is normally paced. You'll have experienced a bunch of stuff before, and you should have experienced like a Lotto and story as well. So like, yeah, I'd say like within that first year, you're still pretty new. But after that, you're definitely more of a veteran. And some people become veterans faster as they learn more and they like do the legwork and research stuff and actually like find out the information. Again, watching stuff on YouTube is already going to help you out a ton. But yeah, some people just take it slow and they take a lot longer to adapt to the game. So rush the story with support help. So the raids are going to mess me up. Yep. Yeah, just work on it. And like I said, if you guys get stuck, it's not the end of the world. Here's my honest to God advice for you. There is no real rush on you getting LB7 done. Except you do want LB7 done by around, I'm going to say like the April time period. So if you can't do it right away, it's not the end of the world, but try to work on your account in that time period and then get it for then. Because what I'm talking about is when the next story chapter begins, the Ordeal Call chapter, when we actually get given the Storm Pod mechanics, you guys don't want to miss those. You want to be able to access them every single day that they're available. They're very, very good. It's not the end of the world if you do miss some, but that's where I'm going to say like the only rush should be for like basically 3 months after Lostbelt 7. Hello, Lenari. How's it going? Immediately got it. Yeah. I can lie, LB7 has me really nervous. You guys really don't need to be too nervous about it. The whole reason that we put that guide out was to help people not be nervous about it, right? So, but again, we wanted to be as spoiler free as possible because like, if you try to research any of this stuff, odds are you're going to get spoiled on it. And we wanted people to be like, hey, we want to warn you, this is what's coming, without just immediately like revealing everything to you. So it's your prerogative as to like how deep you want to dive in type deal. And again, if you guys have questions, you guys can always ask me. They're spinning white prisms for maths. Yeah, I mean, it could be a thing. It's always tricky to navigate. Yep. Well, that's why I was asking people like, and I haven't gotten to look at the YouTube comments. Like I got to see them very quickly after I posted, but I haven't like gotten to go back to YouTube to see. But at least the initial like reception to that video was very positive. So again, I was asking people like, I'm curious, do people like that? Do people want us to do more of that in the future where we do a more like spoiler free approach to things as sort of like a preemptive primer so that like people don't go in and get blindsided and then have to spoil themselves to figure something out. So if people do like that sort of thing, we can try to do it more in the future. A decently leveled account will likely be fine. Yeah. Everything else usually has the spoilers. Yeah. Yeah, like a lot of it's just going to come down to if you have the bodies. And I'm dead serious on that. Like, if you have the bodies, you will probably be okay. If you do not have the bodies, that is primarily your biggest concern. Though, to be fair, you would have that concern anyways, whether or not the raid was there, right? Like, if you lacked it somehow, you would still kind of, like, feel that trepidation because... Like, for instance, let's say you did not have a singular rider leveled up, and then, like, here comes the, like, really big, like, caster boss. You're gonna go, like, oh, crap, right? Like, it's just always gonna be that way. If your account has holes in it, and the story chapter has something that has that hole, you're not going to have a fun time until you can get past that fight. Probably the biggest thing as we talked about in there, and again, I don't want to get too nitty-gritty into the details for spoiler reasons, but there is the mechanic in some cases that prevents you from using command seals. So that's where blue cubes are going to be your friends, the blue prisms as you want to call them. So just be careful with that sort of thing. But I would definitely try to save them for where you really need them. All right, hold on, chat. My brain is yeah, I see what I did there. It's been so long now, like I took a full like 24 hours off of doing this node, so now my brain like can't comprehend how to do the node again. Like everything that I had figured out about it. Safe to assume you made your FGO-JP 2024 analysis or your what I really want to see in 2025 videos ready, I'd imagine. No, I have not made any of that. No. That's usually like, I usually don't start filming any of that stuff till January. I know several like content creators that'll do that crap like all the way back in November, and I'm like, that's too fucking early. Like nobody cares about it right then. Because like again, like normally in like November, you're like your brain is in like Lotto mode. You're trying to like pay attention to the Lotto, and you're trying to like make sure that you get all your ducks in a row for that. And like now here we're gonna have LB7, so I think people are just gonna be a bit distracted for a little bit here. But basically that like time where LB7 part 1 is out and people are waiting on part 2, that's free real estate, baby. That's like the perfect time to post videos. At least I would say. I leveled all my units in preparation to LB7. That's cool. I leveled all my units in preparation for the game. like in general, that's just good mentality. And I know like that's not the case in a lot of other gacha games where like the resources are very limited, but like at least in FGO's case, it has always been a good idea to level up all of your units. Just a heads up, I can hear music. Oh, you can hear music? That is super weird. I think I know what's going on. Okay, so you probably can't hear music now, right? There's music? Oh, that's really weird. I have no idea which computer. Oh, it's gone for you. Good now. Okay. Okay, sweet. Thank you, guys. So I think we had crossing of streams there where YouTube was saying they could hear something playing in my background, which was the case. And Twitch was saying they could, of course, hear music because they can always hear music. So it was confusing. That's why it's like, okay, now you guys don't hear it. And you're like, of course we hear it. Why wouldn't we hear it? And it's like, that was the Twitch people responding. But thank you for the heads up on that. Cross chat? Yep. Okay, what was I doing? Ah, right. What the heck is that? You know what? I don't even care about crits. This will kill. This... And then, of course, I got 2 crits anyways. I overkilled the crap out of that Sphinx. Oh, this is such like I'm so happy I found a way to 6-slot the node with just a singular NP unit. But like, goddamn, I wish I had figured it out faster. Getting the mats to 10-10-10 is rough. Yeah, you don't need to like max like every single like unit or again like skill them all the way up to max. You just the logic basically for LB7 chat is that you need bodies. You need people that like are leveled up to their max level that have decent performance that you can keep throwing at the raid. What you don't want is a scenario where you're having to take like unleveled units or unskilled units because you're not going to get very much out of that. You don't need a whole box of 999. No. Again, I'm going to say this. If you're somebody that has like a good chunk of your roster leveled, you're just not going to have an issue with the raid. How many would you consider to be enough leveled? Our guide states that you need a minimum of 15. I think, and I talked with Avalon about this, I think that is an unreasonable number. I think having 15 units leveled assumes that you get the exact specific, like, the exact specific classes that you can counter. So the reality is you probably need like 30 plus just to be on the safe side. But like, as long as you have like 30, you're probably fine. How many super scopes do you need? You don't. Best way to state it is it's not a raid in the traditional sense of a raid. That's somewhat of a relief. Yeah, I mean, like, the more you get leveled up beforehand, the better it's going to be. And I'm going to tell you guys, there are definitely, like, units that can help out with that. Like, meta supports, solo units that are really good in challenge scenarios and can stay alive for a little bit. Though, admittedly, you can kind of only stay alive for so long against the raid boss. And I highly recommend you guys go read the guide on that. Yeah, it does not lock C's. Yep, MASH is a additional thing. It'd be kind of dickish if locked C's, yes. I mean, it could be a thing, though, right? Okay, so, chat, you guys can see I've basically rolled out my first 10 boxes here. I did notice, and I hadn't noticed this when we first got the event, but the Lotto boxes are different this time. So, on JP, we actually ended up having no silver embers given to us. Now, the standard amount of silvers that you normally get is 15. And basically, they gave us, instead of 25 4-star embers, you now get 30 4-star embers in a box. So that equaled out the experience loss of silver embers. And they also gave us 15 more mana prisms per box, which equaled out the mana prism loss of burning your silvers. So all this does is this acts like a quality of life where you get to have your cake and eat it too. I think they knew that like the vast majority of people were just burning their silver embers, so they're just like, screw it, let's just not even put them in the box. So you don't have to do box management for them, you don't have to burn them. You're still going to get the same amount of mana prisms, and if you were going to use it for experience, you're going to get the same amount of experience. Which is great, because that means that you literally get the experience of having both burned the silver ember and used the silver ember. So it's actually an improvement in that regard. The only downside I can potentially see to this is that, in theory, having more embers can result in more wild variants of embers getting rolled out in your box, but that should still be a benefit, because having 25 embers split 3 ways, because again, you're going to be rolling each thing like basically in stacks of 100 3 times, right? But having 25 embers split 3 ways is going to result in smaller totals on average than a stack of 30 embers split 3 ways. So it just really is just absolutely to your benefit. Didn't they add a 5th mat to the Lotto box? That's actually been a thing for quite a bit of time. So yes, like that is here. We also have tickets, and the tickets are quite nice. I don't have one to show you, but I'd have to roll it out more. But yeah, there's also, and QP has varied over time, like across all lottos, but there is slightly more QP in this lotto. Normally it's about like 4.48 million. This time we have 4.53 million per box. So it's just all over the place, but like this one's slightly on the up. A box full of embers and none is smaller than 12. Yeah. Who was using 3-star embers for 120 purposes? I don't know. Does it make it worse for 120? No. That makes it better. Like, put another way, the entire reason you guys didn't really use silver embers, or rather that you shouldn't have used silver embers for experience, is that they are QP inefficient. It's not the end of the world, but you basically, in order to get, so like if you were to use 3 silver embers and 1 gold ember, the effect is the same experience wise. However, QP wise, because it is based purely off number of uses, the 1 gold ember incurs a singular cost. The 3 silver embers incur the same cost 3 times. So it's literally 3 times more expensive to use silver embers. So yeah, they were just basically inefficient. Why bother with silver when they're just inferior to a singular 4-star ember? Yeah, exactly. Don't you hit a point where you just run out of things to spend QP on? Kind of, but it kind of depends. Like if you're handling things well, yes, you can basically end up like wasting QP, but the better you handle things, the more efficient you're going to be and the less QP you will waste. And even then, you are only going to waste QP past a certain number of boxes. And what that box amount changes per account. Should add 5-star embers to the Lotto box. That is exactly why they won't. Because I think they know. Like, if they were to add 5-star embers to the Lotto boxes, people would actually go ape shit. Like, and this is why I keep saying, like, if you're trying to grind boxes in the Lotto purely to like level a unit to 120 or something, that is not a good use of your refills. You would get more efficiency out of just going and sitting on the Ember Gathering at that point with the 5-star embers. Because it's like, the other way to think about it, chat, is in order to get 1 box, right? So in order to get these 30 embers, you're going to need to spend like 120 AP plus on average, right? In order to go to the Ember Gathering and run that 3 times for that 120 AP, how many Embers would you get out of that? You would get like 7 per run. So you would have 30 4-star Embers or 21 5-star Embers. Guess which one I want. Oh, is it 9 per run? Sorry, yeah, I was thinking it was 7 per run. Yeah, even worse then. So 30 4-star Embers or 27 5-star Embers. Considering the 5 stars are triple the actual thing there, you're literally like triple the efficiency if you leave the Lotto and just go sit on Ember Gathering. Oberon goes away in a few hours, bond farming for 300k bond to get 90 Saint Courts. Good luck. Also, that 300k bond, that's going to be difficult to do in like 3 hours. How's it going, CZ? Hope you're having a good one today. That's a lot of apples. For what? Oh, the 300k bond? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I never, because I hadn't rolled out any boxes yet, so I didn't have the thing for this. Probably drops gold, but I didn't roll, so I don't have any gold. I'm just gonna run it with this exact same comp. Well, I assume when they say they're farming for 90 Saint Courts, it means they're trying to hit like 30 Saint Courts on 3 units. At least I think. Unless I'm misunderstanding. Is there no raid event for JP this year? I don't think we did have one. Last raid was Gouda 8. Well, there you go, chat. You haven't had a Gouda, so you can't have a raid. Like, I don't know. I'm not too worried about it. Like, in general, the complaint that I have is not that we don't have a raid. It's not that we don't have Gouda. It's quite literally, it's like, if you want to complain about anything, just complain about the overall event pacing. Because that is the truth of the matter. Since we've gotten 3-week events, like raid events occurrences, or sorry, not raid event, but just event occurrence overall has just been down. So, was there one with the Mahoyo event? No. Oh, there was no raid for that, right? Like, unless you're meaning like the fact that they had like timed nodes that you could do like one time, right? Well, oh no, you could do them more than once, but like it was only available for like an hour or 2 at a time. Yeah. I mean, yeah, they were time limited. I don't know, maybe you could call that a raid. Like it's similar in fashion, but not really a raid. Those notes confused me so much. Oh yeah, absolutely. What? No. Ah, fingers, stop trying to do the heal. There we go. I appled for those nodes like a raid they gave out of hell bond. I didn't. Like I think I I think I did like 1 or 2 refills on them, and then I determined like, yeah, this is okay. It was not like the greatest thing ever. Like the big thing there was Bond, but Bond is Bond at this point on JP. Like Bond, to me, Bond is losing its luster because of how hard the devs are kind of like pushing it on you, and there is a finite cap in the game on Bond. So like, I'm not gonna say like, oh, you're gonna hit the cap on all your units, but no, like you're just gonna hit the cap on like all of your like meta units that you want to keep using over and over again. And some of them there are not adequate replacements for. So like the faster you just hit that Bond, like yeah, you get the reward from it, but it's also just the faster you become less efficient. So it is what it is. Dev's endless fight versus Bond 20. Yeah, I don't know why they don't. Other than again, like at this point, the coin issue is certainly a problem. Wait, why is that one split out from these 3? That is so confusing to me. Maybe you have to buy one of them to make it permanent or something? I don't really know. Could get MP2 early? Oh, I see. Yeah, I didn't care. I quite literally just did not like do anything in that regard. I need to turn off the filters. Man, what do I want here? I actually think I want the ice. Also don't think I looked at any of these command codes. Kind of easy to tell what they are though, just from the image. Okay, the 5-star one may be one I want to look into because that's NP damage up. Oh, chat, I'm also done with all of my foes on JP. So all of these, if you'll denote, are like esports variants. And that's HP there as well. So I'm completely done with all my foes. I find this hella ironic that I literally was so close to finishing this that rolling out all of my like coins for December would have made me finish all of my foes. And then they gave us all of those coins so I didn't have to. But then I also got some foes from the event, so I also didn't have to. Like, the only reason that I would have had to go back and roll wouldn't have been for grail casting at that point. It would have been to finish my foes. And then today, I did a thing that chat's probably going to scream at me for. Do you think Abby Santa falls in the welfare tier list? I don't know because I don't keep a welfare tier list. Yeah, here. So right there, that is the only unit. I am 5 coins off on Sugitani from being able to finish her 5-5-5, basically. Well, not 5-5-5, all 5 of pins. Everybody else that doesn't have 5 of pins is either a high star or a limited or story locked units. So there you go. So basically, all of the low star units, I just said, fuck it. Your coins are permanent. I have so many fucking coins. I am just unlocking every append on all of you. Because I got given, like I said, like over 100,000 coins. So who cares? I may as well just use them. I did the same thing on an A. Yeah, I did too. But it's like, it was nice because my JP account had a lot of holes in that had developed over time. And now that just like filled all of it in. The rats one is good. NP damage up and anti-earth. Oh, what the fuck? That's power creepy. But yeah, that's I already did a lot of that like more tedious cleanup because I didn't want to subject chat to that. Speaking of which, chat, you know how we were just talking about Draco earlier? Please understand, I'm not trying to shit on Draco. Draco is still a very good unit. Doubly so for me. It's just an issue I have at this point because I have a lot of 120s on my JP account. Did you already buy the Rider Bonsi? Yes, I did. The Nemo one. This motherfucker 120 Draco? Oh yeah. I think if I turned on select sort, that would be a thing. Yeah. Yeah, I'm working on Castoria because my Castoria was not 120able until the change to bond coins. Maid Alter is just on her way. She's been on her way for a while. And I'm probably going to start a new 120 project here because like all the shit I'm about to get out of this lotto and these lotto boxes, like I got to make room. However, because we're close enough to New Year's on JP, I am probably just going to like level the bare minimum from the lotto that I need to do to get all the Ember stuffed in my box. Take that for like another week or two here, go to New Year's, get the 2 times success chance at New Year's, then start leveling all of my units with that. Is Zerctoria 120? Yeah, she's right here. She's not Bond 15 yet. It's just like, chat, within like a month of her release, she was already this Bond level. That's why like I massively slowed down on how much I used her in nodes. It's not that I couldn't. I just slowed down because I went like, oh shit. Like I had already gotten her all the way up to Bond 10 and gotten her to Bond 11. So it was the equivalent of I hit Bond 10 twice already on her. I went like, let's slow down. Dad, what about leveling New Year's Saberface? Well, if there is one, we haven't ever had a New Year's Saberface. I would love that. They haven't done it yet, though. Sakaru? Oh wait, was Sakaru our actual New Year's unit? Yeah, okay. You're right. That's my bad. I forgot about that. $300 would be Bond 13 on JP, not accounting any rarity coins. Yeah, which like, I mean, it's really nice because you need like, in order to do one append and level 120, you need 420 coins. And now like just from Bond alone, you can get that. So like, irregardless of rarity, right? Does Takeru have Saberface trait? No. But I consider them to be. Because again, like, it's wild to me that the game actually doesn't give you that. Oh, by the way, chat, hold on. Let me double check here. Is this clean? Yeah, I think this is about as clean as my inventory is getting. So I'm not going to bore chat with rolling, but I did want to show you guys. There is a new feature on JP where now you can just hold the box down. So like quite literally just boom, tap it. And it is so fast. It is very nice. The only problem I noticed about it is like for the first 10 boxes, when you roll a grand prize, Abby will still stop and say something. And you need to like click through that. Well, tap through it, I guess. But like other than that, like it's absolutely faster. Yeah, no, like this is, if I were to just tap it, okay, chat? Like this is how fast it goes if I tap it. This is not faster. Right? Like you can see, I don't deal with any of that if I just hold it down. It's actually faster. Which is definitely nice. It wasn't gameplay, Lucario. It was a name you threw out that I warned everybody literally the other day not to say. When does this get introduced? It just got introduced with this Lotto. But yeah, like this is just, you can see I don't have to do anything. I'm just like I could be like watching Netflix right now and just being like, oh yeah. And it's just gonna go until my mailbox fills. So like that is nice. I really like that. I really like that they did that. Honestly, it's kind of astounding to me that they took this long to implement this. I hope that they do something like this for FP rolling. Like dead serious. Please just do that. That's all I want. It's just going. Yep. Praise and NA getting this early. We have a history of getting Lotto quality of life like almost immediately after. So like probably for like Ilia Fest, we might get this. It won't be the end of the world if we don't, but like, God, I would love it. Right? We got 100 boxes, 2 Lottos early. Yep. Yeah, it's like, because I think they know, like, this is one of those things where, like, it is just such an annoying, like, issue if you have this quality of life problem. And I think, like, they've realized, like, oh, okay, this serves no purpose to keep it in the game. Just give it to every server because it makes the server's experience just that much better. Like literally nobody goes like, oh, man, I don't want this. And like it makes sense if you think about it. Like no player wants to have to sit there and roll out their boxes. It's always tedious. It's always annoying in that regard. And so it's always a nice thing to be able to have this. I imagine Cad sitting on 500 boxes on an NA Lotto right now, having to tap like 1,500 times to clear it. I mean, honestly, chat, having to tap 1,500 times is nothing compared, because that's 3 times per box. Compared to 30 times per box. Would you rather tap 1,500 or 15,000? So, like, it is what it is all I'm going to say. Like, that experience that we have for the first 10 boxes, chat, imagine that's all of your boxes. That's the way it used to be in the game. And you can see why some people went insane from it. You can see why there were memes of artists like drawing the Lotto screen of you like mashing the character's breasts over and over again. Because people were just like going actually batshit insane from how much they had to sit there tapping the fucking screen. I just auto-clicked the box opening. I ain't dealing with that. Like I said, we have, like, for a long time in FGO, the only accepted, like community-wide accepted automation has always been like, oh, if you use some sort of automation to open your boxes, everyone's fine with that. No one cares because everybody fucking hated it. That's why they put those quality of lives in the game. Because they knew their entire feedback on that feature, on that aspect of the game, was just purely negative. Everyone was just like, this is shit. This sucks. No one wants to do this. Those are some great memes, though. They were. Like, it's just like, yeah, God, no. I don't know why they ever thought that was a good idea. I still have my macro? I do too. And I would have absolutely used it on this. Would bond overflow or bond 20 be a better solution to a bond 15 cap? Bond 20 puts the issue off for some time. Bond 15 is a permanent, or sorry, bond 20 puts the issue off for a certain time. Bond overflow is a permanent solution to the problem. Got another 4-star spook. Oof. Bidoof. But yeah, that was that. Let's talk about the Daeon buff, chat. I still got that I gotta go over. Now, what do y'all think about when you see this character? I'm gonna be real with y'all for a second here. I think, like, throwing out any sort of, like, memes about tier lists and unit evaluation in FGO, I think Chevalier d'Eon is arguably one of the worst units in the game. Not in the sense of, like, they're an unusable unit. Not in the sense of, like, their role is unneeded. They're just in this, like, extremely, like, weird confluence of, like, getting shit on by a bunch of other units. Like, to me, this is kind of where, like, Janako was pre-buff. Where it's like, could you use Janako? Yes. There was just literally no reason to, and you were probably kind of shooting yourself in the foot compared to just using any of their other competitors. Same thing with Chevalier d'Eon. Chevalier d'Eon basically never had a niche to call their own. And when you start thinking about, like, hey, I just need a tank. Well, if you just need a tank, there are 1- and 2-star units that are cheaper and do the job arguably better and are permanently available to everybody. When you start thinking about, like, oh, well, I started the game with my Chevalier d'Eon because they were originally in the, like, the new servant role, like, at the very beginning of the game. My logic always went like this. Cool, but you also start the game with MASH, and MASH is a better tank than Chevalier d'Eon. And MASH is completely free and costless. So why would you ever use Chevalier d'Eon? That was kind of the issue that you had basically before this buff. And this has gone on for years now. Nothing like Chevalier d'Eon has basically been a forgotten about unit, and they have not really done much to actually help them. Again, you guys could see they had self-evasion, defense up of 16% on themselves. And the second skill is the one that's going to get the upgrade here. And the third skill is basically the ability to taunt for 3 turns and recover their own HP. I actually do like the 3-turn taunt. I actually think this is a cool thing. The NP, though, just is what it is. So, yes, it has the ability to reduce all enemies' attack for 3 turns and their defenses for 3 turns. I hate to say, it's not that good of an effect, considering this is... So, how do I put this way, right? Like, if you go back to the original form of this chat, this was one of the first NPs in the entire game that I can think of that started out with 2 things that scaled with the NP level. Most units only have 1 thing. Granted, yes, this is a support-based NP, but this was a unit that started with 2 things. That is extremely rare in early FGO. Even then, the upgrade just said, hey, we're going to take it from 2 turns now to 3 turns, which didn't really do that much. And you can see their chance to charm all enemies here was fucking god awful. Like, I'm sorry, 10%? That is just atrocious. If you saw that charm proc go off, you needed to consider yourself like the luckiest man alive. Because it was so fucking rare, okay? And even then, you could still have something where it's like, oh, we got the 10% chance to succeed for the charm to go off. We did it, guys, and the unit resisted it. So then we go to the upgraded version, and it's 30% base scaling all the way up to 70%. I hate to break it to you, this is still atrociously bad. Yes, you can use this. Yes, you might get lucky, but we're not even at like the 50%, like one in, like basically every other NP you might charm the unit. This is still just insanely bad even after the NP interlude. I hate to say it to you guys, this NP interlude in a lot of ways is just a fucking joke. This is also why when people have asked me, hey Cad, if you have to burn a unit for a rare prism, who should you burn? My answer is that you should not burn a unit for a rare prism, because rare prisms are actually quite easy to get nowadays. But if you gun to my head ask me and say I need to come with an answer, my answer is Chevalier de Eon. Because getting an extra NP level of Chevalier de Eon just doesn't have that much impact for you. It's one of the safest burns you could have. So, it is what it is. So anyways, now we come to the second skill. You can see the second skill for a long time here. It just had the ability to cleanse and increase debuff resistance by 100% for 3 turns. Not a bad skill on its own. The issue is when you actually look at Chevalier de Eon's kit, they quite literally just have the 1 turn of evasion, 3 turns of defense. It's only 16%, which is not a whole lot. Chevalier de Eon does not have a shit ton of HP either, and only has a 2500 heal. So Chevalier de Eon is honestly not even that good of a tank. Like, in terms of fulfilling that role. The best aspect, tank-wise, for Chevalier is the 3-turn taunt. But rest assured, probably at the end of those 3 turns, you're dead. Like, you're probably not living for the taunt to expire, because you probably got beaten to death. Also, the issue I have with this is that this heal literally is with the taunt. So when you taunt, you heal. rather than like being like, hey, I would like to detach the heal so that after I've taken damage from the taunt, I can heal myself. If I were actually going to improve any aspect of Chevalier de Eon's kit, it probably would have been this third skill. And I think one of the best things you could have done is you could have given some sort of like retaliatory effect here where, yeah, maybe it still heals in the outset, but quite literally, maybe it heals like on hit for like the next 3 hits or the next 5 hits or something like that. So that Chevalier starts kind of responding to the damage that they're taking. Yeah, heal per turn could have been it as well. So like that would have been a nicer thing for survivability. Now again, depending on the tank, sometimes you just want them to kill themselves. So in that regard, maybe that's fine for Chevalier. But basically they come in and they give a upgrade to the second skill. Like I said, this is not the skill I would have upgraded first, but it's certainly a skill to upgrade, and I don't have a problem with the fact that they did upgrade this one. So they upgrade it, and they basically come in and they say, all right, does all the same stuff it does before, but it's now going to increase the party's arts performance for 3 turns and the party's buff removal resistance for 3 turns. This is an interesting buff, and it's actually not terrible. The biggest issue I have with it is the arts up for 3 turns to the party by 20% is kind of a like, what the fuck type moment. I think this is basically to respond to Chevalier de Eon's relative issue of getting back to another NP. And while that helps, I'm gonna be real with y'all, like giving some sort of charge here or something would have actually been better. So to me, this just feels lazy. This feels like uninspired, and I'm not the biggest fan of it. It's still nice to have. It can still buff, you know, another damage dealer that's in the party. It can buff a meta support that's in the party and help them, you know, with their performance. So like, it is what it is, right? I will say this does pigeonhole de Eon a little bit into arts again. And this is kind of the same criticism I had of Asclepius's buff, is that Asclepius's buff also made him an arts support, where he wasn't before. He was a everything support. And then they're like, oh, but now you're a little bit more leaning into arts. So it's like, you could still use him for anything, and that's fine. But it feels weird when they're trying to like force units into arts. Especially because if there is any card type in the game that does not need more support and more help, it's arts. But I digress. So anyways, still a good thing to have the arts up for the party for 3 turns, but definitely a weird choice. Meanwhile, the party's buff removal resistance, chef's kiss. That is a stroke of genius. That is very good for de Eon to have. Why? It's going to stop anyone from interfering with de Eon's lackluster kit from getting worse, basically. But it's also going to mean that de Eon can be utilized as somebody that can come in, taunt the enemy, but meanwhile stop anything from interfering with the damage dealer and the meta support that's with them. So like, oh my god, somebody is here and they are going to buff strip Castoria and Squirtoria. Now I can throw de Eon in, and de Eon will protect them from that. So this is very good. This has a lot of uptime. It doesn't have limited uses, and it's just a unit that I think a lot of people have due to the commonality and availability of this character. I think this is a great buff. This actually gives de Eon a niche where de Eon didn't have any actual niche before. So this is smart. The arts up then obviously flows into that, but like I said, I think the party buff removal resistance on a tank is great. I hope they continue to buff de Eon, Because even with this buff, Daeon is certainly not great when it comes to actually being able to soak damage, and is still not got the, you know, like, most robust kit for debilitating or locking down the enemy. So Daeon could still use some upgrades, but this buff is a step in the right direction. Devs have a clear bias towards hearts. It feels like it at this point, right? It's a really strong effect on a 5-turn cooldown. Yep. And yeah, like I said, you can absolutely just like, so what you can do is you could literally party swap and rotate Daeon in, have Daeon taunt, have Daeon die, and have that rotate another person back in. So you can plan around this. This is going to be great for min turners, great for challenge content, and just in general, good for keeping the pressure off of other people. Because this really hinges on the one good aspect of Daeon's kit, which is that 3-turn taunt. Having the ability to be able to focus everything on you for those 3 turns, and then still protecting the party from any other shenanigans is definitely nice. I certainly probably would have liked to see other things in place of the arts up. Again, I think I was talking with Avalon. Avalon said give like party-wide defense up. That could have been a thing. Like I said, give like charge or even like charge per turn to the party or something like that could be an interesting thing. So I think that could have been something that's better. But yeah, I got no issue with it in the grand scheme of things. Stack up NP gain up for the party would have been neat. Yep. Yeah, that's the other thing. Daeon is not exactly like a powerhouse in terms of offensive capability. Daeon, even for a 4-star, has low attack. So, and you're like, oh, well, it's because Daeon has so much health. And I'm like, this is a good health number for a 4-star, but it is not like, oh my god, I'm some unkillable juggernaut. And given the fact that you have 1 turn of evasion, like I said, you're really just, if you're up against anything like higher level, Daeon will still die. If you're up against like low level fodder enemies, sure, by all means, Daeon's gonna soak the crap out of them. But like the actual like high level threatening like bosses and stuff like that, Daeon's just gonna like basically get one tapped still by some of those. That's what effects could be party wide at one point. Party-wide evasion for 1 turn would definitely be spicy. Like that'd be good, right? But yeah, I don't know. The defense number's got to be tweaked. That's such a low number. 3-turn evade, 3-turn taunt, chef's kiss. That would probably be too strong. Like, and I'm not knocking Daeon for not having more like hard survival skills. I'm knocking Daeon for not having more soft survival. So like, again, the defense ups, like the actual just mitigation that a tank kind of hinges on. Tanks love defense and healing because those 2 things allow them to take the hit and recover from it. But if you don't have those things, is it too late for another event banner? I mean, unless we get another event, yeah. All right, I'm just taking a look at chat, see what you guys were saying as I was going over that. But yeah, I don't know. I think, like, at the end of the day, I was not expecting this buff, and I am pleasantly surprised by it. I have some issues with it, but I'm pleasantly surprised by it. Isn't Panda Lancer like that, where the NP doesn't match the kit well? I think the NP is fine. I think her kit overall is just relatively on the weaker end. Because, like, for someone like her, you want her to have the ability to, like, basically be able to take the blows and out heal them, at least for a little bit. And it definitely feels like Ken Liang Yu doesn't really have that. Giga buff? Yeah, I mean, like, at this point, I hate to say it, but, like, if you did make Daeon too strong, oh no. What will we do? One more buff and we're even with 2021 in upgrades for the most upgrades in a year. I think you'll get it. I think you'll get it because there's probably like, again, probably something coming on like the 24th or the 25th, right? Like I feel like you're likely to get something for like Christmas, basically. Now we'll see what that is, but definitely could be a thing. Dion hasn't had a rate up on 6 years in JP. That I don't know. Again, Daeon's a permanent unit, so like if you go look on fandom at the bottom, it's not going to tell you because like fandom doesn't keep track of permanent 4-stars. So like, have they not had a rate up in 6 years? Maybe, but I can't confirm or deny that. I'd say like, if Daeon hasn't, it's still not that surprising because like Daeon is a year 1 unit that was available in the starter summon for years. Daeon is one of the most common 4-stars because of that. Like I'm pretty sure even my JP has NP5 Daeon. And that's with the fact that I have burnt a Daeon on my JP. And I shouldn't have, chat. JP keeps this up next year, then we'll likely have a new winner. I mean, hold on. You're assuming that they can keep a good thing going for an extended period of time. I don't know, forgive me. I'm just a little jaded on the devs in that regard. They like because the devs seemingly have points where they do like really cool and awesome stuff, and you're just like, oh wow, this is gonna be great if they keep doing this, and then they don't. They basically, it's like they fall off, right? Do we count class banners as rate ups? I don't know, maybe, right? The backlog roadblock that was holding them back. That may be the case. I don't know. I think like, so when you start considering organizational structure over time, shit breaks and like people become less effective, but over time people also gain proficiency that offsets their laziness, and basically you have like structural reorganization that usually makes you more efficient. So like it's a cycle that keeps going, and we've definitely been on the bad end of the cycle. Maybe yes, they're coming out of it and getting into a period where like they've reorganized, they're now more efficient, and they're able to like fire on all cylinders again. But who knows, right? Like that sort of thing is difficult to say. I think like the thing that will always fuck with that cycle and will always make it retread itself is if you have turnover in your like employees. So like someone quits and you have to hire a new employee, the cycle like goes all like it like rewinds back to the start and starts again. So like that's the issue that you have with that sort of stuff. Faster main story release and more upgrades. Yeah, I like it's really interesting because again, there are people that think that we might get like Ordeal Call 4 like right here. I don't think we do. I will be pleasantly surprised to be proven wrong by that, but I don't think that's what's coming up. That being said, I hope they do continue releasing main chapters faster. I hope that after years of feedback, they have finally decided to truly act on the fact that, like, yes, I think the number one problem, more than anything else, like if I were to ask 50 people what the problem with FGO is, I would get 50 different answers. But I think if I were to say this statement, every single one of those 50 people would agree with me. And the issue that FGO predominantly has that is in common with nearly all of its players is it is not releasing story nearly fast enough. I'm not talking about events. I'm not talking about sub-chapters. I am talking about the main story. Like, that has been the thorn in their side for years. So, like, it has been nice to see them, at least for this year, kind of pick up the pace a little bit. I am hoping that they continue that. Because I think there is a direct correlation with main chapter releases and the game's population. I think when there are main chapter releases, people come back, they play the game, they complete the story, they talk about the story, they get excited for things, and they want to do stuff. When you go long periods of time where that's not the case, people check out. Wasn't the problem that they needed manpower and were searching all the time for more personnel? That is our theory. That has been a long-held theory on this channel, but I don't know whether or not that is actually true. Because we've never had it, like, completely proven. We do know they were hunting for people for quite a long time. We don't know if that was the reason that, like, certain things were not getting done properly, though. Like, for all they know, they were just hunting for people because they just wanted, like, a +1. And the reality was that they were just, like, ineffective behind the scenes for some other reason. They have to hit Nasi with the broom to get them off the FromSoft games. It's not their fault. Yeah, like, I for whatever the reason that has been the case, it is certainly the biggest issue that FGO has. Because, again, like I said, if you go back to year 3 of FGO, what I consider to be the golden era of this game, the game was relatively balanced. We didn't have massive power creep. The game was stupidly popular. Like it had literally hit its zenith in popularity. And we literally got like 4 story chapters in that year, on top of events and reruns and like all this extra stuff. So like that is when the game was like, it literally peaked. So we've seen where it can be, and since then it has been down, right? Like how much you want to say it's down, I think is a subject for debate. But I think everyone would probably agree since year 3, less stuff has been getting done by the devs. Part of that is due to, like, they have tried to make the things that they are doing bigger. But the other part of that is like just them dropping the ball on certain things. Like, again, like the strengthenings and interludes where you're like, why is this not a thing? And then they just didn't for whatever reason for a long period of time. Like, even as many good things as they have done this year, for instance, it's the one we just had. That's the prior one before it, where we only got 2. The prior one before that, where we only got 2. Yeah. Go look at 18. Do you see a pattern here? So, Interlude Campaign 19 was the first one this year. It happened in May of 2024. Interlude Campaign 18, the one before this one, happened December 2nd, 2021. Like, that's exactly why people say these things. Because I have people that like they'll try to white knight the game a lot of times. They'll be like, "Cad, you're being doomer, you're complaining." I'm like, "No, I'm not." Like, I'm being brutally honest and fair to the game. Like, I am not trying to shit on it. It's yes, it is very clear that the developers stopped doing certain things in the game. And that is a clear example of it, is when you can show people like, hey, how long was it between interlude campaign 18 and interlude campaign 19? Why was it that long? Right? Like, or again, you can look no further than like the actual main interlude system. You can look no further than shit, what's the word for it? Shisho Fest chat, the unique mechanic at Shisho Fest. I've forgotten it. Grailfront, thank you. Yeah, Grailfronts, they also like, they have run like one Grailfront a year now. After like when they came out, they originally ran like 3 of them. Just is what it is. Just not as one campaign together. Yeah. 2023 shit the bed though. Well, yeah, it's hard to be worse than 0, right? Do I have time to shower? How fast do you shower? Is 2023 worse than year 1 though? What do you consider to be year 1? Because, like, there's year 1 chat, and then there's actually what I like to call the half year. Okay. Like, yeah, in the half year, there was not a lot that got done. Actually, that's a lie. There was a lot that got done in this time period. There was so much crap. But, like, yeah, I mean, year 1 had its issues. But the game was new and the game was growing. Meanwhile, like, you go back to like freaking 2023 and chat, I'm sorry, you guys are going to experience this next year. NA normally does a good job of smoothing things over, but you already got to experience some of that this year as well, where there were just periods of time where we didn't really have much. Same thing with 2021. This has been an ongoing issue for basically the last like 2 to 3 years for the game, such to the point that NA has already experienced some of this issue, and we are headed deeper into it. JP is seemingly coming out of it, which is good. I like that. As soon as I pick up my soap, he's going to start. What if I'm waiting on you to pick up your soap? New Yorker shower for 20 minutes? Bro, that's weird. This man in the shower, you know, singing in the rain. You could release a servant and make money, we don't care, said the CEOs. Yeah, like, I do wonder, and I've said this before, but like, I actually wonder if having Aniplex over the top of Lesengle is better than the way we used to be, where Delightworks was in between Aniplex and the developers. Because for better or worse, it does seem like the game has tried to drive monetization more. Not that it's become like a completely scummy thing, but it does feel like since Aniplex has taken over, the game has been way more focused on monetization than making the best possible game they can. DW time feels better, honestly. Yeah, I'd agree with that. What's up, Aggressive? Any tips? Because I'm currently going to learn Japanese. No, because I don't speak a lick of Japanese. The way I play JP is I'm so familiar with the menus that I literally just know where everything is without like having to actually read Japanese. Like I skip story on JP, and like I'll still do the fights, but I don't actually read the story on that end because I can't read. So, but there's definitely websites that you can use that can help you out with stuff like that. Like App Media is a really good resource for JP. Obviously, fandom can still be used if it's updated. And yeah, I mean, in general, you can always ask people on the Discord because there's several people that we have that play JP as well. All right, chat. I did say we were going to do a small community night here. And the reason why is because I wanted to check out Marvel Rivals with you guys. I've been basically busy playing the Lotto the entire time. I really wanted to get the Lotto done for various reasons, and I still plan to kind of work on some more content with you guys. But like, yeah, I'd also like to like take a chill pill here today and actually like do something. I'm sorry, is my Steam just not opening? Okay, there we go. I don't know what that was. Ah, yes. I gotta admit, so far Windows 11 is just so much worse at running, like, any fucking program. Like, any EXE. Windows 11 just feels worse at it. I'm like, the more I use Windows 11, the worse my opinion of Windows 11 is becoming. Search menu's bad. It's not even that. It's like shit like this, where like I actually am having just like weird like graphical issues as programs load and stuff. Oh, and there you go. So it broke the capture card again. Why? I don't know. Let me fix it, chat. Oh, now it's bigger and greener, like the Hulk. Well, now it's not green, at least. But this is concerning. Oh, yeah. I do want to say this, by the way, chat. So, the capture card that monitors my gaming rig is actually housed on my streaming rig. And this is wild. The fact that games on my gaming rig are now breaking a device on another computer. And I hate that. So, I'm not sure why this is the case. The only thing I can think of to do is to physically close my OBS on the streaming computer, which will end the stream. I will be back. But yeah, give me a minute here.